Only one player out of over 300 brought Ho-Oh to the Pokemon World Championship in 2025. And that Ho-Oh player went really far, being able to get top 16 at the World Championship with Ho-Oh, and it was a day one regulation I team. We're going to be trying out the Ho-Oh plus Loaded Dice Koraidon team that was able to get top 16 at the World Championship. This Sun team got top 16 at Worlds, and I believe was a team that was showcased really early in the format by a previous Japan Nationals winner, Yubi Slow. And I'm not sure if it was built together, if there was some inspiration, but we have seen this team multiple times on the channel, and I believe we have played the user several times in general. So let's start by breaking down the team. First up, we have the Loaded Dice Koraidon with the ability to summon the sun and boost its physical attack damage output even further with the Fire Terra type that is able to power up its fire moves, as well as take the ice and fairy attacks that are super effective against Koraidon and turn them into not very effective moves with Flare Blitz, Collision Course, Scale Shot, and Protect. It's really interesting because we don't really see the Loaded Dice Scale Shot set too often on Koraidon. Usually it's the Clear Amulet or the Life Orb. But the fact that having dragon coverage is really nice into the opposing dragons, the opposing Koraidons and Miraidons out in the format, some random ones like Raging Bolt and the Dragonite, it does have some really good coverage, and being able to hit guaranteed 4 times with the Loaded Dice, 50% chance to hit all 5 hits and to get that speed boost is really helpful. Even at the cost of being vulnerable to Intimidate, it can be a very solid item choice, especially if the Clear Amulet is taken as well as the Life Orb. The EV spread here, pretty simple. It's just max attack for the Koraidon to dish out as much damage as it possibly can. You are boosting the speed with the Scale Shot, and this Koraidon is able to outspeed a lot of the bulkier Miraidon and Koraidons out there and just dish out as much damage as it possibly can. Next Pokemon we have is the Life Orb Iron Treads with the Quark Drive that is able to give it a speed booster in the electric terrain, with the Ghost Terra type that is able to help out against fighting type attacks, as well as the fake outs out there with the Iron Head, Knockoff, High Horsepower, and Protect. It's interesting to see Iron Treads without a Miraidon, but it is mainly to help out in the Miraidon matchup because it does have some pretty good coverage with the ground and steel coverage, and it is really able to help out against Miraidon, which Ho-Oh and Koraidon don't exactly appreciate. So having a mod specifically for that matchup can just help out immensely. EV spread wise, it's pretty simple, just max attack and max speed with a 4 special defense as the remainder. It's really just supposed to get that speed booster, outspeed, threaten most of the Specs Miraidons out there. If there's Scarf, it's not doing as much damage, so you don't have to worry about it. You can knock off, get rid of its item, threaten the Cocksharas, High Horsepower, really strong ground coverage, and Iron Head to be able to hit the opposing fairies out there. It is just a mod that is able to do a lot in that matchup specifically, while also being able to hit Pokemon that this team might not have the best plans against, especially having ground coverage for opposing fire types that the team can't really hit. Next Pokemon we have is the Rocky Helmet Incineroar with the Intimidate ability, the Water Terra type, to help out against strong water type moves, still resist the Glacial Lance from the Calx Ice Rider with Willis, Fake Out, Parting Shot, and Knockoff. It's a pretty standard Incineroar, what to say, good support. It really just helps out because being able to reduce the damage of really strong physical attacks from the Ho-Oh, which has the weaker physical defense on its defensive spectrum, it's really solid and allows the team to just take attacks extremely well. EV spread wise, it's pretty simple. Max HP, 188 defense, that allows it to take pretty much the best roles of being able to just live a Surging Strikes from a Focus Sash, Rapid Strike, or Shifu if the sun isn't up, which is pretty helpful. And just a physically defensive Incineroar is just really nice to be able to switch into Cali Ice, which Ho-Oh and Koraidon do not appreciate. And the EV spread 36 in speed also does allow the Incineroar to outspeed Elandris Incarnate under Tailwind, and the rest is just going to go into special defense. It's really just a support mod to help out, burn some Pokemon, and get the Intimidate, so Ho-Oh is just really able to tank the attacks on the special side, and then the physical side, Incineroar is able to help out quite a bit. Next Pokemon we have is the Assault Vest Raging Bolt with the Pro Synthesis, giving me a special attack booster while in the sun with the Fairy Terra type that is just able to help it be immune to the super effective Dragon type moves, especially that Miraidon Draco Meteor with Thunderclap, Snarl, Electroweb, and Draco Meteor. Just having some coverage with the Thunderclap that's able to threaten the priority, especially against the water types and the rain matchup. The Snarl able to help out a lot against really powerful special attackers like Calyx Shadow Rider, Lunala, and more. Electro speed drop can just allow the Koraidon Ho to be able to outspeed some threats and can very much be appreciated. And the Draco Meteor is just a very powerful attack, especially with that special attack photosynthesis. EV spread wise, it's a pretty fast Raging Bolt. This Raging Bolt is designed to outspeed Calyx Shadow Rider after a Tailwind is set up from the Ho-Oh. Has a good amount of special attack, giving 100 with a modest nature. Does give an extra stat point to its special attack. Does have a lot of HP. It does basically get the maximum amount of grassy terrain that it can have access to. An odd HP stat for the Ruination and Super Fang calcs, and the rest going into defense and special defense. But across the board, the Southwest Raging Bolt, absolute tank, can still do a ton of damage thanks to the Sun photosynthesis boost, giving it a special attack boost. And then the speed, it allows it to actually be able to threaten stuff, especially after Electrowebs and the Tailwind. Next Pokemon we have is the Focus Sash Fluttermane with the Speed Booster Photosynthesis when in the Sun with the normal Terra type that is able to help out against Calyx Shadow Rider Astral Barrage and the Moongeist Beams from Lunala with Moonblast, Icy Wind, Taunt, and Protect. A pretty standard support Fluttermane, just running Taunt instead of Shadow Ball in order to help out against like the Trick Room matchup and a few other scenarios. It's really useful there, and it is just able to put on a good amount of pressure with the Moonblast Icy Wind to support the Koraidon. Icy Wind plus the Koraidon, a really strong hit, can just allow for the Koraidon to outspeed massive threats with the Scale Shot and Flare Blitz power attacks. Across the board, it's just a simple Fluttermane, just supporting easy EV spread of just max special attack and max speed, because that's all you really need on a Focus Sash set. And it's just able to outspeed a lot of the format, especially when the sun is up. Final Pokemon on the team, the only Ho-Oh that was at the World Championship with the Clear Amulet that is able to prevent the Ho-Oh stats from being dropped, especially from the Intimidate from Incineroar, but also stuff like Icy Wind and Electroweb from the opponent's side, with the Regenerate ability that is able to heal the Ho-Oh when it is switched out from the field, with the Water Terra type, which is a cool defensive type because it is able to help out against really strong water type moves, as well as still resist the Glacial Lance and powerful fire type attacks. And what's really cool about this Ho is running the Water Terra type. Normally we see the Grass Terra type to help out against the super effective electric type moves from Miraidon, but it does make it vulnerable to like Flare Blitz from opposing Incineroar, as well as Glacial Lance from the Cox Ice Rider. So the fact that having the Water Terra type just sacrificing a bit of the Miraidon matchup, you do have Iron Treads and Raging Bolt, as well as Fluttermane and Scale Shot Koraidon to help out against opposing Miraidon. They can make the Ho-Oh focus in on more difficult matchups with that Water Terra type having a general broader sense. With the Sacred Fire, that's able to do a lot of damage, especially in the sun, be able to have a 50% chance to burn as well if it connects. The Brave Bird, a strong flying type attack. The Tailwind, which is of course able to provide some speed control for the team, and Protect to keep itself around. Oh, it was just an interesting mon because it was a Pokemon we actually featured on a channel not too far off recently, and yeah, like it was a question of, is Ho-Oh a potential fraud? Because it was really popular at the beginning of the format, and then it kind of just fell off afterward, like the first two regionals. So it hasn't really had the best performance afterward. However, the only Ho-Oh that was at the World Championship, top 16, and I think it made sense with a lot of the meta calls that the opponents played. Not as many Miraidons, and was a lot of Calyx Shadow Riders, Almazentas, and Koraidons, which Ho-Oh has a very fantastic matchup against. EV spread wise, this is a really tanky Ho-Oh with max HP, 76 attack with an animate nature, gives it an extra stat point to its attack, 108 defense, so it can be able to again sponge up the defensive hits, especially on its lower defensive side, because it has a really massive special defense. You don't really need too much investment there already. And then 68 speed. This allows you to speed creep some Pokemon like the faster Rillabooms in the format and more, especially under that Tailwind, which is going to speed creep some Mons in the Scarf range. So how to use the team. Across the board, it is a very offensive Sun team where you have a few different modes. Of course, you have Incineroar that can just lead with anything, of course. Fake out and just go for burns. Parting Shot, pivot around, of course, is super strong. It can lead with like Koraidon for fake out Scale Shot, could lead with Ho-Oh to get fake out Tailwind set up, or Tailwind Parting Shot into like a strong hitter. You of course have the Sun mode that could just lead immediately with Koraidon plus Fluttermane, or Koraidon plus Raging Bolt. A fast attack from the Koraidon after an Icy Wind speed drop from the Fluttermane can be very disruptive. You also have the Raging Bolt Koraidon that can just brute force through certain teams. Iron Treads is just a great lead in general into a lot of the Miraidon compositions, especially if they're not Scarf, because you can put on a lot of pressure with knockoff and high horsepower. And of course, you do have Ho that can just lead with pretty much anything and just set up the tailwind. Because of how bulky it is, it can usually be able to tank at least one attack and get that tailwind up or fire some massive damage in the sun. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. And let me know in the comments down below, what restricted Pokemon do you think had the most potential at Worlds that we didn't really see pop off? Ho-Oh, I think, was definitely one of them that if it was a surprise restricted that could pop off, it was definitely Ho-Oh. I think Groudon also could have had a potential of doing well. But yeah, like otherwise, the format and the meta definitely did shift at Worlds. We saw a lot more of the Cactuars almost into Koraidon, especially less Miraidon and less Calyx Ice Riders. So let me know what you think about what kind of restricted Pokemon that could have been a surprise factor, could have actually maybe done well at this World Championship. But let's try out the team and see how well it goes. All right, we have Groudon, Volcarona, Grimmsnarl, Miraidon, Fluttermane, and Incineroar. I hate dealing with these builds. I hate dealing with these builds. The Iron Treads is pretty good though. Iron Treads is pretty good. With Ho-Oh is pretty strong, I'd say. Am I bringing Raging Bull? Probably not, right? No, I don't think so. I bring Fluttermane. Fluttermane's nice, but it's not necessary. I think it's like Ho-Oh, Iron Treads, Koraidon, and Incineroar. I think that's fine. Usually, like, okay, the Groudon item is going to be huge in this matchup. Are you Clear Amulet? Are you Assault Vest? Are you some just random Covert Cloak? Like, the problem with facing this 6 is always that they change the item so much on where the Covert Cloak is. Sometimes it's on the Grimmsnarl. Sometimes it's on the Miraidon. Sometimes it's on the Groudon. I have to figure that out. So, figuring that out will be like a crucial step. Because if it's Clear Amulet on the Groudon, it's most likely not going to have the rock move. So Ho is a lot safer against it. Granted, I still have to fear of the Miraidon, but I do have Iron Treads. Maybe I shouldn't have led Iron Treads. Maybe I should have kept it in the back. I just want to pressure Grimmsnarl plus Miraidon lead if that's the case. They might lead Groudon though, so I got to figure that out. Let's see what they decide to lead here, because I think Ho is a safe opener. I just got to figure out with who. It's Groudon. Okay. I lead Iron Treads plus the Ho-Oh. I go Incineroar for the Iron Tread slot, and I think I either Sacred Fire immediately or I just go for a Tailwind. I think I just Sacred Fire immediately. I think if they're Stone Edge, they might not risk a turn 1, so I'm just going to go for damage. I also really need damage on Groudon because the team doesn't have the best damage tools against Groudon. Because it doesn't really hit like big, bulky Terra Fire Mons well. So if they don't decide to commit Terastization, which they probably won't in front of the Treads, like I really need this hit off. Also, I'm hoping that with the Intimidate from Incineroar, maybe I could live a rock move at the worst case, but I don't think they're clicking the rock move. I think they're clicking the ground move because I feel like Incineroar switch is obvious. Get the Intimidates. It is Clear Amulet, so it shouldn't have a rock move, which is perfect. They do go for Terastization immediately, which is fine. Yeah, Ground on Terrace, that's fine. Okay, they go for Terra Fire. Granted, I do have Iron Treads in the back, so I can go for a ground move. Ooh, they fake out the Incineroar, which is actually really nice. Right? Don't tell me you're just Clear Amulet rock move for no reason. Okay, they're just Precipice Blades. Okay, that's fine. That's what we expected here. Yep, we hang on pretty comfortably. We get Sacred Fire off. Not bad, not bad. Not the best turn, not the worst turn. Okay, this turn I'm just going to fake out the Grimmsnarl. If they're fake out, there might be Cover Cloak on that. I think I'm just going to fake out the Groudon and Sacred Fire to Grim. They're probably going to go for a T-Wave or Reflect here. Probably a T-Wave. And then I'm going to Mold, but not much we can do. We need the damage here, and I do not want to waste turns faking out a Grimmsnarl if it is Cover Cloak. So I'd rather fake out the Groudon, have Incineroar around so I can scout for the Mon that comes in and then bring in the Treads correctly. They protect the Groudon, so I guess I could have doubled up the Grim, but that's fine. What are you going for with Grim? We fake out. I don't really need Incineroar anymore because its main job was to intimidate Groudon if it wasn't Cloak. Ooh, we got a Sacred Fire off. Huge damage. No burn. Spirit Break. They take the Rocky Helmet. Shouldn't KO, yeah. Okay. That's nice. That's very, very nice. I'm gonna go for knockoff and I'm gonna go for tailwind, I suppose. The Groudon was faster than my Ho, I think. I would like tailwind up if possible. Okay, interesting turn. So I should have faked out the Grim because if I got the extra damage, it would have been very lovely, but curious. I think they're not reflect. Oh, they saw fake out Spirit Break. I mean, these teams always run Thunder Wave, so I'm just like, it probably is Light Screen as the last move I'd probably figure out. They switch out the Grim. Interesting. Is this into Miraidon? Oh, that's really good for me because I can bring in my Treads afterward, and Treads is in a really great spot. Yeah, it is faster than me. Yep. They go for that, which is fine. Kills my Incineroar gladly. As we get Tailwind up, does Sacred Fire damage? Does that put it in Life Orb Treads range? I guess we're gonna find out. Could be Overheat on the Koraidon, but I'm not sure on this build. This is gonna be close. I think I'm just gonna high horsepower though. Like, it's a Life Orb high horsepower. Water Terror doesn't help me here. Do I need this Mon? It's not necessary to win. Do I double the Groudon? They could swap out into Treads. This is not an easy spot. I think I double up the Groudon. Okay, they give me the Groudon. Okay, I did KO the Groudon, so that was a misplay on my part. I should have protected the... should have protected my Ho-Oh. But I mean, because it was fast, I mean, it's not like that crazy fast for a Groudon. But I am able to get a Sacred Fire off into the... oh, it's Scarf. Okay. Wait, if it's Scarf, that makes it so much easier for me. Okay. It being Scarf makes this a lot easier for me, as they are locked into Electro Drift right now. I'm surprised it's Scarf Miraidon on this build, but it works out perfectly for me because now I get to go out into my Koraidon and Scale Shot up. And that's pretty good. We bring out Koraidon. As Grimmsnarl going to come in for Fake Out, that's fine. Hey, not Thunder Wave. I'm just shocked if they're not Thunder Wave. We're just going to go for high horsepower into the Miraidon, and we're going to go for Scale Shot into the Miraidon slot, because I think if the Grim doesn't have Thunder Wave, we're in a good spot. I mean, I don't think they raw Spear Break here. They raw Spear Break, great play on their part, but I think they're just going to switch out the Miraidon probably into Volcarona or Incineroar. I don't think it's Volk against me. I'm pretty sure it's like Incineroar or Flutter Mane. So I'm pretty sure I get a higher horsepower plus Scale Shot off, which is super ideal. Oh, wait, they faked out my Treads and stayed in with the Miraidon. So I get a Scale Shot off. This KOs the Miraidon, and then I don't have to worry about all that offensive pressure that they had. So this is really good. Really, really good. Okay. I'll take it. I think I have a guaranteed win here if last mon is what I think it is. Well, if it's Flutter Mane, I should have the sealed. If this is Incineroar, I should have the sealed. If it's... I mean, yeah, I think it's just sealed. Flutter Mane comes in. Yeah, I think I have this. Last turn of Tailwind. Yeah, I can just go for a knockoff into Flutter. Could be Sash Flutter. No way, you're not Sash Flutter. But I'll knock off in case it's like Specs or something. Then I'm gonna go for Terrafire Collision Course into the Grim, I suppose. Oh, gonna be forfeit. Yeah, I think this endgame was just terrible for them. So nice. Beautiful. Scale Shot. Like, I mean, they had Flutter. If they went into Flutter, it would have been... like, if they went Flutter and went for a if they went for Flutter Mane and went for a fake out into Iron Treads, I think it was like way more viable than what they did. Because I don't get why they stayed into Electro Drift for the bit of chip on the Koraidon. I guess they were like, okay, maybe I sacked to get Flutter Mane in. They still couldn't pressure my treads regardless. So I just don't know about that one. But hey, you know what? We'll take it. All right, we have Calyx Ice Rider, Kyogre, Torkoal, Farigiraf, Sentret, Rillaboom. Oh, this is gonna be some Endeavor shenanigans with the Sentret. Okay, I mean, Smash Up's okay. I have Taunt Flutter Mane. Taunt Flutter Mane's really good into this. We are gonna go with. Trying to think about how I want to lead against this because Centric Cali Ice isn't exactly a lead I have super safe measures into. I have Scale Shot Koraidon, which could be helpful. Switching into some of this stuff is going to be scary because if I bring Flutter Mane just for taunt, unless I can guarantee deny Trick Room, but I just don't think I can. I think I gotta go with Koraidon plus the... I think I can't bring Taunt Flutter. I don't think I can. I think I need Koraidon plus... I'm gonna go with Ho immediately. I do Incineroar Raging Bolt. Depends a lot on the Terra Cali. Or the Cali Terra. This is gonna be a super tough one. Because I'm like, okay, I don't think they're gonna bring the Farigiraf. If Farigiraf's coming, it's in the back. Maybe they lead Farigiraf Sentret, which is fine, but okay, they did lead Farigiraf Sentret. Okay, that's fine. As I do lead Hoa plus Koraidon. All right, we're going for Scale Shot, and we're going to go for Sacred Fire into the Farigiraf. They know I'm loaded dice Koraidon, so if they follow me, they do go down with the Sentret, so I don't have to worry about it. So yeah, we're gonna go for Sacred Fire plus the Scale Shot. And let's see what they do here. They should probably just follow me and set up Trick Room, and that's probably the best case scenario for me, so I will go for it. I also have Terra Water Hole, which is probably going to be the Terra in this matchup. They go for the follow me, which is understandable, and we are going to be able to get a Scale Shot off and KO the Sentret. So the fact that that lists 2 Scale Shot hits is actually kind of insane when I think about it, but goodbye Sentret, as we will get the boost. Although the boost is hurting us in this case, it's fine. Sacred Fire and Sun will still do a lot to Farigiraf, and I mean a lot of damage. Especially if we get the burn, that means Farigiraf will be on a timer. Oh my goodness, that did so much damage. It's Citrus Berry, okay? That makes sense. No burn, unfortunate, but Trick-Room goes off, okay. So that's... It's not ideal, but it's okay. So is this Cali Ice coming in, or is this Kyogre? Both are... It's probably Cali Ice, realistically. They're probably just going to go for a Glacial. Oh, it's Kyogre coming in. Interesting. Okay. So I'm going to go Raging Bolt. I think I go Raging Bolt and I Brave Bird. You might be thinking, why am I not protecting? But the thing I don't want to protect, because the thing about protecting that's awkward about protecting is if they switch out Farigiraf into Cali Ice and then pin me with Glacial Lance Water Spout. I mean, that's the worst case. I think what I have to do in this situation is I need to Brave Bird the Kyogre, put it in range of a Thunderclap, and then play some mind games against them. So we'll bring out the Raging Bolt here. They didn't hard switch, unfortunately, the Farigiraf, which is what I was trying to catch. But Raging Bolt coming in. We will Terra Water, so we should live Water Spout with ease. Especially since they didn't terrestrialize the Kyogre, it looks like. So this isn't like some Choice Specs Water Spout, Terra Water blow up situation. So Ho should easily live this attack here. Okay. They do just go for Helping Hand. So this is Helping Hand Water Spout. We'll do a ton of damage. I don't know what item it is. Could be like Iron Ball. Yeah, that's not specs damage at all. That's 100% certain. I do get the Brave Bird off. Good damage to the Kyogre. And now we're in a really good spot, right? Because now I can threaten some pretty good damage. I can go for Electro Web if I want. I could go for Draco Meteor. I think here I'd probably just want to go Koraidon for the Ho slot. Get that Regenerator up. And go for an Electro Web KO into Kyogre. And I like that a lot. So I'm going to go Koraidon to set up the Sun and Electro Web. So this is why I think I'm in a really good spot with the Terra Water and just going for the damage. I don't really need to terrestrialize anything on this. Like, sure, I still have 2 Pokemon that are weak to the Glacial Lance, but I have the Incineroar that can switch into the Glacial Lances as well as the Ho-Oh after the Regenerator. So I'm feeling pretty good here. Especially after I get my special attack boost from the Photosynthesis that will be able to threaten the Kyogre. Because the Electro Web should do a ton of damage still. If not KO. Alright, Sun is up. We go for Helping Hand again. Is this Ice Beam or are they Water Spouting again? Origin Pulse, yeah, this is perfect. Does absolutely nothing. Please just hit the Kyogre. Beautiful. We get the Electro Web off. Good damage. Even though we didn't get a KO, this is super ideal. Now I can go for a Snarl pretty safely. And a Flare Blitz into the Kyogre. Because if they switch out Kyogre into Cali Ice, they're getting heavily threatened. Now going to be forfeit. They kind of realize, yeah, they can't really do much in that situation. I'm just putting on so much pressure. The Trick Room turns are running out. And I still have a Mon in the back that I haven't revealed, but it is Incineroar. And yeah, that is perfect. So that's how I maneuvered the Trick Room because only one of the restrictions could come out. I'm surprised Cali Ice didn't come out for the Helping Hand Glacial, but it ended up working out really well, right? And especially since they didn't double out into the Cali Ice. I was just able to have free reign against the Kyogre that wasn't able to do much damage while I had 2 resistances that were both pretty specially defensive, as well as the Koraidon Sun that was switching in the next turn. All right, we have the Zamazenta, Miraidon, Grimmsnarl, Volcarona, Chien-Pao, and Iron Hands. A pretty classic 6. What do I want to go against this? Oh, well, of course, really good. Treads is pretty solid. Chien-Pao Zamazenta is going to be a hard thing to switch into consistently. I kind of like Incineroar plus the Ho-Oh is a pretty good combination. So I think I'm just going to go with Incineroar plus Ho-Oh. Do I bring Fluttermane? It's not bad here, but probably not. It's probably just Koraidon and Iron Treads. I like Incineroar because it doesn't let the POW get out of control. Even though I would like Fluttermane Moonblast damage after a terrestrialization from the hands, it's not really super ideal. So I don't think that's worth it. The hands is going to be a bit hard to handle if it's a good defensive Terra. If it's Water Terra, then I probably need Raging Bolt. But even then, I don't have good electric moves on the Raging Bolt. So just, I mean, Thunderclap will do decent damage, I suppose. But not being able to punish it switching in consistently isn't great. So hopefully it's not hands and not Terra Water hands if it is brought. But let's see how the matchup plays. I think what I do is fine, but we'll see. Gonna be Grimmsnarl plus the Miraidon versus Ho-Oh and Incineroar. I think this is a pretty decent combination here. Should be Scarf on the Miraidon on these builds. If this is random cover cloak, I mean, what can he do? But let's see. Do I want to? I should be faster than the Grim unless they have a lot of speed. I mean, my play is just a Sacred Fire to Grim and fake out the Miraidon turn 1. Let's see what they decide to do, but I like the idea of just getting some damage. Okay, I do get to fake out off into the Miraidon. Beautiful. Reflect comes out. Okay, so pretty standard play. Please don't be Cover Cloak. Nice. Okay, beautiful. We get a Sacred Fire off into Grim for some pretty decent damage. And a burn is pretty good. Okay. Very solid turn. Very solid turn. Okay. I like the idea of Protect is obvious on the Ho-Oh, but I think my best play is just to Protect swap to Treads. I don't risk taking a lot of damage onto Incin. If they Volt Switch, I mean, they're usually Scarf on these builds, so I imagine if it's Scarf, I could live a Volt Switch and just show off a Sacred Fire the next turn into whatever the Miraidon wants to go into. But also Treads will threaten a lot of damage, so I think that's fine. Okay, so we bring out the Treads. Protect the Ho-Oh. Oh, they just lock in Electro Drift. Okay. They target down what was my Incineroar, sure, and they Spirit Break the Ho-Oh. I guess reading a switch there. Okay, so this works out pretty well for me. Do I need health on my Koraidon? I don't think I do. I think my best play is just to go out and Koraidon and just draw off a high horsepower. The only thing that's annoying is that they go Volcarona and get the burn on my treads, but I mean, really, it's not ideal, but I think it's probably okay. They might double my Ho-Oh to catch the... I guess they could double up my Ho-Oh slot, but I think I'd like Koraidon has the least valuable roles on this team, so I think it's okay. I'm gonna go Koraidon, get the sun up. They went for Thunder Wave. Okay, they went for Thunder Wave Electro Drift, which is perfect. Let's see, we can confirm if it's Scarf. No, wait, no, we can't. I have Tailwind up. Yes, I outspeed. I get the high horsepower. Good damage. As they Electro Drift my Koraidon. Is that Specs? I just can never tell. I think it is. Which I'm kind of surprised by, but it works out. I get to go for Skill Shot into... I mean, if it's a speed tie, so be it. I am max speed on my Koraidon. I'm just going to go for Skill Shot, and I'm going to go for Iron Head into the Grim. Okay, they don't switch out. I get a free high horsepower KO into the Grim, so that's amazing. I get rid of the Grim. I'm kind of surprised they let Miraidon go down like this, but that's acceptable. Okay, they outspeed. That's fine. They take the KO, acceptable. I'm curious if the back is even Volcarona. I just get to go Ho-Oh, right? Yeah, I just get to go Ho-Oh. Let's see who the last is. Zamazenta comes out. I wonder if it's Pow in the back or not. I think my play is just to always double up the slot anyway. We're going to go for Terra Ghost to avoid the body press, and we're going to go for knockoff into the... Yeah, we're going to go for knockoff into a Sacred Fire. It covers any switches. Looks like no switch, which is beautiful for me. I do get the Terra Ghost, so I avoid a body press. Tailwind didn't peter out for me, right? So I do get the KO with knockoff. If this is Scarf, then... Well, I think I didn't see Tailwind peter out, right? It terrestrialized the Zamazenta to avoid Sacred Fire doing big damage. Yep. Terra Water is fine. Is it hands in the back? I think it's okay, regardless. Yeah, okay, no, Tailwind didn't peter out. So I do get the KO onto the Miraidon. What item were you? Were you Scarf or Specs? The damage was a lot into Koraidon. It was Specs. Okay, so my damage calcs were not off. Beautiful. Body press into the slot as I do get a Sacred Fire. We get the burn. Incredible. Wait, no. Tailwind definitely petered out. Tailwind definitely petered out. Okay. I mean, this is fine still. That's Xian Pal. Okay, yeah. I feel like I'm pretty set here. We're gonna go for Sacred Fire into the POW, and we're just gonna go into Incineroar. Like, you could body press the treads, but I have so many options. I could protect the treads and just Sacred Fire. There's so much I can do here. I think you protect POW and probably just body press the Ho and get as much damage as you possibly can. This might be risky by me because I could have just went for protect and I could be risking a double up here, but ideally if I do get this Sacred Fire off, I do win the game, so I'm kind of willing to go for it. Bring out the Incineroar, get the Intimidate off into both. Okay, they crunch, which is perfect. They lose their sash. I don't even have to go for a Sacred Fire burn. Ooh, good body press. Okay, so they did read the protect Ho, I think, and go for the attack. But that actually works out. I think I just win off that. Assuming I land the Sacred Fire. If I don't land the Sacred Fire, the game's nowhere near over. Okay, no, I do land the Sacred Fire, so I think I'm in a great shape to win. Okay, awesome. Endgame could have been a bit dangerous, but this works out beautifully in my favor. Now we get to go treads, we get to go for high horsepower, Sacred Fire, and we should win the game off that. So nice. A bit of aggressive play towards the end, but it worked out pretty nicely for me because I was a bit worried. Like, I knew if I lost Ho was not ideal, but they needed to crit one of the two moves. I thought like Crash Body Press could go out in that slot. I also didn't want to like play super defensive because if I did protect the Ho, as you saw, they did actually double up my treads, which was a smart play on their part. Because if tread stays in, I guess like if I protect treads, it works out, but if I switch out treads, if I stay in with treads, I go down to crunch and body press gets redirected. If Incineroar goes in, like that's what they did. It covered like most of the options, which was smart by my opponent. But yeah, luckily I didn't fall for anything super obvious and was just able to push my advantage. They go for Heavy Slam, which is fine. It does no damage after the Intimidate. Can we get a Sacred Fire Burn, please? Because that just makes it so much easier. No Sacred Fire Burn, okay. A Sacred Fire Protect, right? Because this is the last turn to Reflect. I was like, why are the Sacred Fires just not doing that much damage even under Sun? And then it's like, oh yeah, they have Reflect up. Go for Heavy Slam. Yep. I think even if they got a Body Press read, it wouldn't change too much anyway. Can we get a burn? We finally get the burn. The burn just seals it up here, guaranteed. Perfect. Okay. I was like, can we get a burn, please? And there is the burn that we needed. Reflect goes off, and now I can just fire off the Brave Birds and the high horsepowers. And yeah, they would have had to get extremely lucky with like Sacred Fires and high horsepowers missing, like a lot. And that would have been an astronomical odds of me losing the game. But you know what? Just gotta push through. Brave Bird will KO the Zamazenta, and we do take the win. So very nice. Very nice. Felt I had a pretty good start. Like I called the sets right. I mean, I didn't call if it was Scar, but it was choice lock somehow. I was suspicious on the damage. I miscounted tailwind turns, but after seeing the damage on Koraidon, I'm like, that has to be Specs. There's no way that did that much to Koraidon if it's Scarf. Like Scarf won't two-shot Koraidon like that, or maybe it would do 50%, but there's no way it does over 50, like way over 50%, right? So I got that right. They gave me the Miraidon. Huge damage into Miraidon, just let Hoa was able to win because it was just healthy at that point. So as long as I was getting my attacks off, it was super ideal. All right, we have Koraidon, Lunala, Fluttermane, Chi-Yu, Ursaluna, and the Brute Bonnet. Okay, so this is the World Champions team. No surprise to see it being common here. What do I want to go? I like Ho a lot here. Ho does put in a lot of work. I'm interested. It's not, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not like awful. Trying to debate. The Ursaluna is super tough, so I got to watch out for that. I wouldn't mind leading Ho plus Fluttermane because it puts on a lot of pressure. Raging Bolt's not bad either. I'm not Snarl though. If I had Snarl, wait, am I Snarl actually? I am Snarl. It does help out against Lunala. I feel like the combo though to bring is always Ho, Fluttermane, and Incineroar Koraidon. I do like that combo a lot. I think it's Ho plus Fluttermane. Puts on a lot of pressure against the team in general. Like if they leave Fluttermane, Chi-Yu doesn't put on a lot of pressure. I think I like that a lot. And then Koraidon plus Incineroar back. I feel like they lead Fluttermane here. If they don't lead Fluttermane, then it probably makes my life a lot easier. Like my own Fluttermane's actually pretty good offensively against their team, so let's see what we can accomplish, but I think that this is generally fine. Chi-Yu plus Flutter. Okay, yeah. So this is not too surprising. I do lead my Ho plus my Fluttermane, and I should be able to tank attacks just fine. I could go for Tailwind if I want. I'm kind of curious on what they have in the back, though. Is it, did they not bring Koraidon? They might not have brought Koraidon, but I am going to Tailwind here, and I am just going to Protect, I think. Yeah, I don't really hate that. If they Dark Pulse Shadow Ball, Ho should tank it at least on the bright side. I like the idea of Tailwind, set it up. Seems pretty good for Icy Wind into Sacred Fire the next turn. We are going to see the heat wave come out, so they're putting on pressure against the Flutter Mane, so that's super ideal here. And even Ho dodges. It wouldn't have done too much damage because of its good speed up, but that's still appreciated. They do go for Icy Wind, which is super ideal because I am able to get a Sacred Fire this turn, or I could go for Brave Bird if I wanted to. Brave Bird, Icy Wind would probably knock out the Chi-Yu, and it covers for a Flutter Mane Protect. So I kind of like that. I'm actually going to go for Brave Bird, and I'm going to go for Icy Wind. I'm pretty sure Brave Bird knocks out Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu is such a frail mon in general, especially if I get the Icy Wind chip. I think it's a guaranteed KO. Flutter Mane can protect here, but if it doesn't, that's completely fine. The Icy Wind will break a Focus Sash, and that would be super ideal. So no matter what, I think that this is super strong of a position. Like Ho, you could see why Ho is putting in the work here. No protects. I do get an Icy Wind off, which is awesome. And we are able to knock out the Chi-Yu, looks like. So yeah, I mean, I'll definitely take this turn. It's an incredible turn for me as Brave Bird will come out and take the knockout into Chi-Yu. Yep, it's a strong Brave Bird. Chi-Yu goes down, and now they don't have the Beats of Ruin, so their damage output's a lot less. What are they going to go for? They're going to go for Moonblast and a Flutter Mane, sure. No special attack drop. Pretty much the ideal turn I could have asked for. Let's see who they bring in next. Maybe Koraidon. If it's Koraidon, that's fine. We're going to see Lunala. Okay. They do get access to Tailwind here. Or they do get access to Trick Room or Moongeist Beam. I think my best play is probably... do I need Ho anymore? I don't. I could Brave Bird and I could Taunt to deny the Trick Room. They might Meteor Beam here too, so there's like a lot that could go on. I think I'm just gonna go for a Brave Bird into the Flutter Mane, and I'm gonna Taunt Lunala. They're gonna go for Terra. In case I guess I have Shadow Ball, which is fair. They go for Terra. They go for Terra Water. Okay, so that's fine. I think this is really good for me actually, because I should be able to set up pretty well in the end game. With my, and they don't protect Flyer, so this is perfect. I get a Taunt off into the Lunala, and I am able to get a Brave Bird KO into the Flutter Mane. So Flutter Mane goes down, critical hit, not necessary. But now I have a pretty good setup for Koraidon next to Flutter in a great spot. So let's see. Yep, they went for Trick Room. Perfect, perfect. Okay, this should be really good then. It's Ursaluna back. They didn't bring Koraidon. I guess that makes sense because Flutter Mane and Ho are not great for it. But yeah, now I'm in a pretty good spot. I think I can just go for a Brave Bird and a Moonblast into the Lunala and be completely fine. I don't have to target the bear because it can't protect. I have Collision Course, or they can protect, but they can't Terra, which is a big one. I got a critical hit and a special attack drop. Sure. I don't think these are necessary at all to win the game, but I appreciate it, I guess. We get a Brave Bird off into the Lunala for some pretty good damage. They go for their one Meteor Beam, so they won't have it onto the Incineroar, which is important. Like, even if they get the double knockout, this is a completely fine situation. Yep, they get the Meteor Beam off. Yeah, the Ho is pretty much going down at this point, so that was fine anyway. And Headlong Rush, or are they going for Earthquake? If they go for Headlong Rush, I mean, so be it. They go for Headlong Rush into the Flutter Mane, but now I have a guaranteed win, right? I go Incineroar, I go Koraidon, I click Fake Out into the Bear, I click Collision Course into the Lunala that's super low at this point, and then I win the game, right? There's not really much that they could do here. As Tailwind peters out, and the Burn is on deck, but it's not enough for my opponent to be able to win the game. So we go Koraidon and we go Incineroar, and yeah, we're just gonna win the game. I'm kind of curious if I should risk anything. I could risk stuff, but I'm pretty sure Lunala goes down the Collision Course. If I didn't get the crit with Moonblast, maybe I would risk doubling it up with Fake Out and Collision Course and just hope that Ursaluna doesn't crit me with Facade. But yeah, at this point I can just Fake Out the Bear and I can Collision Course the Lunala, and this is a super safe end game win. So we will go for Fake Out into the Bear, and we'll go for Collision Course into the Lunala, and it's a super safe win. So very interesting. They brought the mode that isn't really like they didn't have Koraidon back. They brought Lunala, which, I mean, Lunala Bear makes sense because if they are able to set up the Bear, it's in a really good spot, and it's not like Ho is a little bit problematic. Flare Blitz still does a ton of damage, by the way. Terrifier Flare Blitz does do a ton of damage to me. But at the end of the day, like, it's a lot harder to set up. And yeah, like, Lunala makes sense. Ursaluna makes sense. I'm surprised about the Flutter Chi lead. It worked out great for my Ho. My Ho was just able to lead, put on a lot of pressure. And yeah, that's basically what it was able to do. My opponent's trying to see, I guess, if there's any chance of a win con here. Probably has to play aggressive with the bear here. But it's just a not now, right? Because Collision Course should easily KO the Lunala at this range. Yep. So goodbye Lunala, and that is game. We will KO the bear the next time Collision Course, and yeah, there really wasn't anything they could do. They played super aggressive with the Flutter, which were good plays on their part, but it didn't work out towards the end when I was able to prevent the Trick Room, which was a big one. Because if I take the Meteor Beam, it's not even a game-losing position. But if Trick Room goes up, it's a pretty bad position. So just have to make sure that was never going to happen. And yeah, now we can go for knockoff plus a Collision Course and seal up the win. So across the board, fantastic. Was just able to really get the knockouts. The heat wave, as you saw, the mist didn't really matter. I had 80 HP left. There was no way the heat wave was going to do that much. Maybe they could have done some icy wind stuff or something, but like realistically, I don't think it impacted the game much at all. If they Dark Pulse Shadow Ball, maybe, but I still think I was in a good spot either way. So yeah, the bear cannot win. Will this be a forfeit, or will they play the animations out? Or maybe sometimes it's that timer thing where they're like, I'm gonna waste this guy's time. I don't think that was a full 45 seconds though. So Collision Course is gonna take the knockout into the Ursaluna. It was at -1 defenses as well, so if we didn't believe it wasn't KO before, it 100% for sure was at that point. And we do take the win. Awesome. Awesome. Not much to say. Ho just putting in a good amount of work. What a surprise. All right, we have Calyx Shadow Rider with Terapagos, Rillaboom, Whimsicott, Hitmontop, and the Landorus Incarnate. So I'm curious if it's Meteor Beam on the Terapagos, which I can very much see on this kind of build. All right. Do I want to go here? I like Fluttermane a lot. I like Incineroar a lot. I like Ho a lot. I like Koraidon a lot. I also like Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt's also strong mon, especially because like Fluttermane is good, but it's not necessary. Raging Bolt's really hard for them to stop, actually. They do have a Landorus, but Landorus isn't a great mon in a Ho-Oh. I'm kind of curious on what they opt for. I think I'm going to go with the Raging Bolt Ho lead with Incineroar back and Koraidon. As much as I like Fluttermane, it's not necessary to win. It also gets Grassy Glided by the Rilla, which I don't know if they're going to bring, but it's not exactly pleasant. So I think I'd prefer these four since I don't think I need the pressure in the Shadow Rider as much. We're going to see Terapagos and we're going to see Lander. So this is an interesting one. Okay. As I lead Raging Bolt plus the Ho-Oh. Don't have the best Meteor Beam switch, which isn't great, but I should be okay. I mean, the Raging Bolt, as long as it lives 1 Earth Power, which it definitely should be able to get a Snarl off and protect. Yeah, I wish I let Incineroar plus Ho-Oh now, but this is fine still. I'm just going to go for Protect Snarl. Ooh, we see the Terapagos switch out, so I'm kind of curious on what they bring in. Rillaboom? Hitmontop. Is this a Jax button? Okay. So that makes sense. Pivoting into Hitmontop, I am able to get a Snarl off, but they didn't protect Landers, but they did make a nice bait here. Is it actually a Jax button? Good Earth Power. Was a lot. We get a Snarl off into Landers, so Landers won't be doing as much damage. Is this actually eject? No, it's not a eject button. Okay. I don't know. I think this position's fine. It's not ideal, but it's fine. I'm just going to go for a Draco Meteor attempting a Landers, and I'm going to swap into Incineroar, I think. Get the Intimidate off. Actually, no, I didn't like this. I should have just stayed in and Tailwinded. Yeah, I thought about I realized this afterward. This is not that great of a plan because I could have just got Tailwind up with I could just got Tailwind up and been in a really great spot. Now it's kind of It's not bad, but it's not like ideal. Like I could have had a much better position. As we see the earth power, which is okay. We can go Koraidon and threaten some pretty heavy damage, which I am going to go for. I think I want a scale shot. The question is, who do I want to scale shot? I think I'm going to scale shot the Hitmontop because Hitmontop's most likely to switch out for the Intimidate. I'm going to go back into my Ho-Oh. They do switch out to Hitmontop. If they go Terapagos, they take a decent amount of damage and then they're in collision course range. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if the Landers protects or if they go for an aggressive Earth Power. If they go for Earth Power, it might be into Incineroar, which is why I'm doing this play. Bring out the Ho-Oh. That's Terra Shell. Okay, we didn't miss. Good. So we'll get some decent hits off into the Terapagos. A bit less than I was hoping for, but still okay damage, I suppose. Especially if we get a 5-hitter. Nice. Okay. Good damage. And they go for Earth Power. Yep, into Incineroar. Perfect. Okay, awesome. Now I can go for Collision Course into the... Oh, it's leftovers. Okay, it's not Meteor Beam. I don't have to fear the Terapagos as much. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I will gladly take that. So I think I'm going to go for Collision Course into Terapagos, and I'm just going to Tailwind up. I could also Scale Shot Landorus, but... I could also protect Terapagos if I expect him to Terra and just go for Earth Power attacks. I think it's okay to protect and just Tailwind. It's pretty safe. They retreat the Landorus is probably him on top, so that's fine. Yeah. Okay. I imagine this is Terapagos protect then? Maybe not. Maybe they just go for Terrassization. Maybe I could have doubled up the slot, but that's okay. Oh, no, they do just go for protect here, I assume. Oh, wow, they played aggressive. What? Is this just Calm Mind? Wait, if I Collision Course, they just lost. Starstorm, sure. Don't know why they did that, but sure. Were they trying to bring out the Shadow Rider next to him on top? Even if they did that, like, it wouldn't have been that great of a spot. I think I'm just going to Collision Course Sacred Fire the Terapagos. I need damage on Terapagos. And if they decide to fake out, they don't KO my Koraidon without double up. They do fake out. I thought the switch to Incineroar might have been obvious, which is why I didn't go for it. But they didn't go for Terrassization, so I guess Sacred Fire off. Huge damage to Pagos. You go for Terra Starstorm, sure. Yeah, it's not enough. Okay. Aren't I in a great spot? I think so, unless Hitmontop decides to Terra. I'd be very shocked if the Hitmontop's the one to Terra, but sure. I'm going to Brave Bird the Hitmontop, and I'm going to Collision Course the Pagos. You go for Feint, but that's not enough. Yeah. Okay, I get a Collision Course off into the Pagos. What are they saving Terra for? I guess it's a Shadow Rider. I do get the KO onto the to the Pagos, so Pagos goes down. Beautiful. And Brave Bird will knock out the Hitmontop. I guess they're setting for Shadow Rider endgame. I'm curious what kind of Shadow Rider they are, if they're specs or not. Don't be Scarf. Just don't be Scarf and it'll be fine. Landers in. I mean, the Lander should always be the Life Orb. Alex is revealed. They're gonna Sludge Bomb or Earth Power to Koraidon. I think my best play is just to Scale Shot the Calyrex. In case it's some random Terra Water. I don't think they're Fairy Terra on this. I think I'm just gonna Sacred Fire anyway. I'll risk the misses here. I think it's okay. They protect, which is fine. They double protect. Okay. I mean, that works. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm in a good spot still because I still have Koraidon at +1 speed. So it outspeeds the Shadow Rider. Okay, so it's not Spec Shadow Rider. It's not Scarf Shadow Rider. I'm trying to figure out what the set is, but I guess we'll figure it out. Sun fades, which is fine. I mean, I don't have a Racal Compulse or the boost, but it's okay. Ellen Peters out. That's acceptable. I don't think a double up knocks out the Ho-Oh. I think I still go for Scale Shot and maybe a Brave Bird this time. I could Tailwind, but I think no, Tailwind's a misplay. I think I double up the Calyx. We see a Terrassalization, so is this Terra Ghost? I assume so. Okay, they do Terrasalize into Ghost Terra. Yeah, okay. I could have protected maybe, but if this is Encore on the Shadow Rider, I don't think I have a play. So I think I have to double up the Shadow Rider here and take the knockout. Scale Shot coming out. So that is still spread Astral Barrage. So I should be able to KO the Shadow Rider here with Brave Bird. I guess it... Do I live Earth Power plus Astral? I'm like pretty confident I do, because it shouldn't be a Life Orb Shadow Rider. So this should just be Sash. I think the question is, does Ho survive? If I don't survive the Sludge Bomb, Brave Bird recoil? Wait, that might be a problem. Okay, I definitely live the Sludge Bomb. Do I live the recoil? Probably not. I should have Sacred Fired. Or maybe Tailwind. Sludge Bomb. Yeah. Ooh, okay. I KO Shadow Rider, but I messed up this endgame by not Sacred Firing, going for Tailwind. I mean, I think the Scale Shot was the right play. I don't know if Brave Bird was it. I don't know if Brave Bird was it. I think I had to Sacred Fire there. I go Incineroar. I don't think Incineroar can win the endgame. Maybe. If I can live Earth Power into another attack, maybe. But I think it's super unlikely. We go for Fake Out. We don't Terra yet. Because maybe we can bait them to go for a Sludge Bomb over Earth Power. I don't even think two knockoffs KO Landers. They stay in, which I'm kind of surprised by. Because they take the damage. So now I think a knockoff into another knockoff would KO. Even if I get rid of the Life Orb. The question is, can I live two Earth Powers? I'm just assuming not. If we go for Terra Water, if I had Terra Bug or anything, I would guarantee probably here, because I don't think the Landis would be able to do enough damage, but unfortunately that is not going to be the case. Go for the Water Terra. This should be Earth Power. It's going to do a ton. Oh, that's way too much damage. That might be modest max. I needed a crit there if I want a chance. Okay, yeah. I think in general this game was fine. I think I just had to Sacred Fire to Shadow Rider in the end game. After revealing Protect, I probably should have thought about it more. Like, it was really unlikely to be bulky. Scale Shot and Sacred Fire should KO the Shadow Rider with ease there. And then I wouldn't have had to recoil. Then I would have had Incineroar, and then I could Fake Out plus Tail in the next turn and been fine. Did I get a 4-hitter or a 5-hitter though? I think I got a 4-hitter, right? If I get a 5-hitter, Sacred Fire should guarantee. If that was a 4-hitter. If that was a 5-hitter, I might have needed the 5-hitter plus Sacred Fire. I also had a chance for Burn, which was also acceptable. But yeah, I think I just misplayed towards the end. I think like the start wasn't that amazing either. I mean, I got the KOs, but I don't know if it was enough. Maybe taking the recoil on him on top wasn't worth it. Maybe it was still always just switch out Incineroar into the, or switch out the Koraidon and Incineroar. Even though I had the Scale Shot boosted, I didn't want to waste. Like, having the Sun Up might have been better for the damage output, but yeah, that definitely could have been other options that I could have pursued. All right, we have Calyx Shadow Rider, Zamazenta, Chien-Pao, Dragon Knight with Mousehold and the Iron Valiant. Interesting. Okay. Oh, it was really good against this build, of course. Dragon Knight a little bit suspicious, but for the most part, because we have Scale Shot on Koraidon, it's actually fine. I'm either gonna go Flutter Mane, Koraidon. I mean, Raging Bolt's not necessary, and Treads is not useful, right? I don't think either of them are. So I think like the 4 I'm always bringing are Flutter Mane, Koraidon, Ho-Oh plus Incineroar, because it seems like a really good combination. Question is, what am I leading? I kind of like the Koraidon plus Fluttermane combination with Incineroar plus Ho in the back. I think it's just really good here. Oh, I guess like... Oh, wait. Is this the spec stuff? It might be the spec stuff with Specs, Calyx, Shadow Rider, Astro Barrage just through the teams. That might be it. Yeah, it's probably that. Okay. As we lead Fluttermane plus Koraidon. Terrestrialization wise, I don't need the Water Terra on Ho-Oh in this game. Koraidon will probably want a Terra here. I have Incineroar. Do I want to go Incineroar? Nah, I lose too much tempo. Unfortunately, my Ho is slow. I don't think... Did they feint the Koraidon turn 1 is my question. This is not a great lead here. Why did I lead this? Okay. So they could protect the mouse hold and just go for a Terra Ghost Astral, which is a thing. I think my play here is just to protect the Koraidon and go for Taunt into the mouse hold. Is they're going to go for Terra Ghost Astral? I don't know what they're doing with the mouse hold. That's the only thing. I think they're going to go for... I don't even know. I'm just really hoping that they didn't go for feint. I'm just hoping that they went for either protect or follow me. I think follow me is just the safest mode, right? Because I could Shadow Ball theoretically, or Icy Wind Flare Blitz, and they would be like, even with Friend Guard, I don't think they'd be tanking it well. Actually, wait, why did the Shadow Rider Terra first? It's Scarf Shadow Rider on this build. Okay. Wait, that's really good for me, actually. That's really good for me. Because I was like, wait, why did the Shadow Rider Terra first? It's Scarf Shadow Rider. So I get a taunt off. This is really ideal, actually. Why are you Mental Herb? Okay, didn't work out how I wanted to, but that's still fine. We're gonna go for Helping Hand Astral again. I'm just gonna Moonblast and switch to Instant, I suppose. Alright. It's Scarf Shadow Rider. Yeah, it's just one of those things you might randomly encounter at times. Granted, Incineroar is a pretty safe switch in here. We don't need Incineroar to win the game. It'd be nice, but it's not necessary. We want Koraidon for the Scale Shot into the Dragonite in the end game. They're going to switch out, actually, which is really good for me. Who's coming in? Dragonite? Okay. I could have Icy Wind, which is the unfortunate part, because Icy Wind would have been really nice there, but sure. Bring out the Incineroar. Actually, this is still bad. I really wish I got the Icy Wind off now that I think about it. Yeah, because they break my Sash. Good damage on the mouse hold. I think I got a knockoff, and I think I have to go Ho-Oh. If they help me hand Extreme Speed, it's not great. Well, they don't have Terrestrialization, actually. I mean, Extreme Speed is definitely going to KO my Fluttermane, but I mean, this is not a Terra normal E-Speed. It's just a regular E-Speed. That's not really that much damage now that I think about it. If I knock off, get rid of the band, Fluttermane might live in Extreme Speed in the future, which is what I'm going for. Bring out the Ho-Oh. They went for Helping Hand E-Speed. There's no way this is Outrage. Okay, they just E-Speed my Incineroar. That's fine. I get a free knockoff in a Dragonite, so that means we get rid of the Choice Band. Granted, they can Extreme Speed in the later parts of the game, but right now I get a free Tailwind up. I want to reposition in a Koraidon. No, not yet. I think I'd rather just go for a Wisp here into the Dragonite so it doesn't do that much damage, and I'm going to Tailwind. Yeah, I think that this is acceptable. You go for Follow Me. That's acceptable. Perfect. Get the Tailwind up. The Dragonite went for what? Outrage? Stomping? Get a Wisp off into the Mousehold. Because I think I could set up for a nice Sacred Fire situation, but we'll see. Oh. That's not great. That's not great. This is... that's not ideal. Gotta think about this now. Rock Slide. I could try to bring in my Rhydon. I won't have to Sun Up. It's fine, but it's not ideal. I think I have to go Koraidon anyway. Like, everything else is not looking too good. This is gonna get tricky. Especially because POW endgame is still really scary. But we'll see. Follow Me coming out. There should be Rock Slide. Unless they E-Speed. E-Speed's fine. That's fine. Okay. That is fine. Sunlight fades. I go out into Ho-Oh. I click Brave Bird into Scale Shot, I think. Yeah. Brave Bird into Scale Shot. 2 turns of Tailwind. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, this endgame is going to be tough because are you Power or you Zamazenta now that I think about it in the back? Because that's actually going to be like a really big determiner of this game. Wait, yeah, that's going to be a big determiner of this game. You go for a Helping Hand for E-Speed, I'm assuming. Exchange Speed my Ho-Oh, that makes sense. I get the KO on Dragonite and I get Brave Bird into the Mousehold to take the knockout. Yeah, this is still really tough, but it's playable. Just a back. Is it Zama? I'm assuming it's Zama at this point. The Mousehold goes down. Good. Maybe it wasn't the best play to knock off that one turn. Maybe it was the parting shot to the Dragonite slot because it being locked to the E-Speed was so much better than the Rock Slide. I didn't realize. POW comes in. I guess the question is, do I get the knockout Shadow Rider? Because I don't have the Orichalcum Pulse, but I do have the Beads of Ruin. And it is a pretty powerful attack from Scale Shot. I think my best play is just to go Flutter Mane and go for the Scale Shot into the Calyrex. Let's see. I think it is. I don't know if they Astral or they Psychic. That's my question. Are you going to go for Astral or are you going to go for Psychic? If you go for Astral, I think the play is always to switch to Flutter Mane because Astral won't KO my Koraidon without a double up. This is such a tricky spot. If they Psychic, the best play was the Sacred Fire. But let's see. They also have to fear me knocking out the POW because if they don't knock out the POW, Flutter Mane could potentially win. If they lock in the Astral, there's a lot of stuff. Oh my goodness, it's Ice Shard. Doesn't KO though. Okay, we're good. Scale Shot. Oh, we might need a 5-hitter. We need a 5-hitter. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, even if we didn't get the 5-hitter, they Astral, and then I think it comes down to potential speed tie between Flutter and the POW, unless they sucker. Silly endgame, but worked out. Gave me the best odds. Yeah, now I win the game because I can just Moonblast Collision Course and they can't win. Oof. Okay. Scary. I didn't think it was Scarf Shadow Rider, and then the Rock Slide Dragonite put me in a weird spot. But you know what? I was willing to 50% chance to win the game with loaded dice. I'll take it. 50% too. I'll take it. Also, I think they went for Ice Shard, Astral Barrage, so I still think I made my best play possible by switching to Koraidon, because I would Ho would get outsped, Astral Barrage, double knockout, and then Flutter as the alone. I think would auto lose. I think at least with Ho I could play a mind game, or with Ho Flutter I could put a mind game, but with Regenerator. But yeah, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Too close for comfort, man. Too close for comfort, but we take it. We take it somehow. Somehow. All right, let's go over the games. In game 1, oh boy, it is the Groudon, but luckily no Rock Move, and it was Scarf Miraidon, which I was a little bit surprised by, but I was just able to get some pretty good damage. I'm actually shocked that Iron Treads did pick up the knockout into the Groudon with the Fire Terra, but the high horsepower was enough damage. The Iron Treads was just able to put in so much work against my opponent, and yeah, they weren't really able to stop the Iron Treads in time. In game 2, the centered stuff, which we have used on the channel before. Actually, I think we used it back in Regulation G. It's the Follow Me, Focus Sash, Endeavor set, and you can use Frisk to scout for items, but that centered not really good against the multi-hit moves of the Koraidon Scale Shot, and was able to position well against the Kyogre under the Trick Room and pretty much deny my opponent from really getting a lot of momentum, being able to sweep my team, and I was able to get some pretty heavy damage to set up for a really good endgame scenario. In game 3, Chien Pao, Zamazenta, Miraidon, Grimmsnarl, the classic team, but across the board, felt like I was in a pretty good spot. They gave me a lot of damage to Miraidon, gave me even a double knockout with the Grimmsnarl Miraidon, and then again, Chien Pao, Zamazenta. Could have been spooky if I got the play wrong, but I did risk the potential Icicle Crash, Flinch, and just went for the Sacred Fire because I was a little bit scared of losing tempo, and I was able to get the call right and even just take the knockout on a Chien-Pao for free, and that really just allowed me to set up for a really strong victory. In game 4, the World Champions team, but interesting, decides to bring the Chief Flutter main lead and then Lunala with Ursaluna in the back. Ursaluna makes a lot of sense. It does put in a lot of pressure under the Trick Room, but that's only if you can get the Trick Room. Felt like I had no problem with the lead as Ho was just really strong into it, and then with the Tom Flutter main I was just able to shut down any option for that Trick Room from Lunala, so I was just able to overwhelm my opponent afterwards with offense. In game 5, the Hitmontop Terapagos team, which was playing scared of the leftovers. I guess Raging Bolt wasn't that necessary. It was still pretty decent, but across the board I felt like the start was weird. I felt like it was like okay, but it wasn't exactly as good as I could have made it been. Like I was just having a hard time switching into the Landers Incarnate, so the Earth Powers were doing a ton of damage, and then across the board, like I ended up taking a bit too much from the Terragos Astral Barrage. I think if I just went for the Sacred Fire with Ho-Oh, it was just a much better position in the end game, and I probably should have considered it was probably Sash, and they were going to go for the Terragos game plan by how they were playing after the double protect. But yeah, there were things that I could have probably done, maybe like switch out into Incineroar for the threat of the knockoff. Maybe it could have got Tailwind up instead of going for the Brave Bird, because that Tailwind would have been actually pretty huge. Afterward, I just didn't want to give them a chance to get multiple protects, but yeah, I should have thought about probably Sludge Bomb, Terragos Astral Barrage, KOing the Ho, and there's no way I was living that recall, so that was definitely a bit of a mistake there, and I could have played better with the Koraidon. They gave me opportunities to switch to Incineroar, and I would have probably been in a fine spot, but yeah, there were definitely a few turns I could have capitalized on. In game 6, Scarf Calyrex Shadow Rider with the Maelsold. I didn't fall for it, thankfully, because Paranormal Flutter main just really good in this situation. But knocking off the band on the Dragonite so they can go for a Rock Slide, yeah, that was a little bit tough. Endgame wise, I did have to rely on the scale shots, and you know, maybe I could have played out of the situation even if I didn't get the 5-hitter, but it just gave me the best odds, and thankfully was able to get the 5-hitter and put myself in a good position to take advantage of just being able to dish out 10 attacks. Maybe again I could have maybe like parting shot the Dragonite at one of the turns instead of going for the knockoff, trying to cover the mouse hold for follow me in that situation. But you know what? I was able to play around the really interesting, unique duo of Dragonite Mousehold, which was kind of awkward for my team to handle. So how was the team? I mean, the team is just really strong. Like, I remember facing my opponents several times on Stadium Ladder, both in videos and both also practicing for my Worlds team. And they were always really high up on ladder. They usually like top 10 on the ranked ladder. So I'm not surprised that the whole player did extremely well. They were also just playing exceptionally well when we were facing them on the channel, especially. But yeah, like, this was a pretty good meta call. Ho-Oh and Koraidon with Scale Shot was actually super threatening to a lot of the world's meta in general, because that dragon move on Koraidon really just hurts. And yeah, there were a lot of good tools across the board that they were taking advantage of, and that Ho-Oh was just really hard for a lot of teams to break through. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. If you would like to try out the team, the rental code is on the screen. Hopefully it's still available by the time the video comes out. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.